So welcome everybody to Food for the Soul. I told you, for those of you all who are tuning in for the first time, you just to kind of give you a little bit of background about what we do. So we do our Soul Purpose show at 11, and then we do what's called Food for the Soul immediately at, well, I shouldn't say immediately, like 12:30, it's like 30 minutes after. Give us an opportunity to regroup and get our beverage of choice, where we typically have a conversation about kind of what we talked about during the main show, um, and or other topics. So we're gonna finish a little bit of the conversation we had. Our main show today was about healing our spirit. And Shayla Marie was on, and she's a certified yoga instructor, and she did a phenomenal job. The second half was Dr. Matthew Wesley Williams, who's the interim president of the Interdenominational Theological Center. There is an HBCU virtual graduation going on today at 2 that the Obamas are doing. So he had to handle that. So he is delivering diplomas or participating in that. But Shayla was kind enough to come on, and we had a question because you said you were making crab cakes out of hearts of palm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you make the crab cakes?
Yes. So they're actually in the refrigerator right now, setting.
Oh, so the set first, and then you fry
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because I was gonna do that, but then I came on and watched the show
Okay.
for the Reverend for his second part, so I didn't get to let them set for a while. But I can show you how they look if you want.
Of course, because I've actually never had hearts of palm before.
Okay, I'll go get it. It's literally the heart of a palm tree.
Really?
Yeah. It sounds pretty weird, but it's really good. Hold on.
Okay. So as Shayla goes to get her crab cakes, quote unquote, I have two special guests. This is Alicia Joy, who is my oldest daughter, and the brother with the hat on at the bottom is my baby little, not so little brother, G. Allen Williams, joining us all the way from South Florida. What's good, bro?
What's good? What's good, Mo? How y'all doing? I'm happy to be here for Food of the Soul. I'm ready to get fed.
Yeah.
I have to apologize. I don't have a beverage with me. I feel left out.
Well, Shayla, how long is it gonna take you to make your beverage now? We want to get into this conversation. If you pouring, it's 12:30, so it's a little early for bourbon on the rocks. But if you can just pour bourbon on the rocks, that takes 5 minutes.
Well, that's my drink of choice. So, but no, I'll get through. I have some water here close by, so those are the only two things I drink. So I don't know if it's healthy or not. It's either water or bourbon. So,
well, if you balance it out, it probably is. So Shayla, you back with? Let me see.
Okay, I'll show you. I just brought one. So can you see it?
Yes, it does look like a crab cake.
Right. It's hearts of palm, bell peppers, Italian breadcrumbs with all your other seasonings: Old Bay, garlic powder, salt, pepper.
So you season it like you season a
regular crab cake?
Like you season a regular crab cake.
Mm-hmm. And then if you have chickpeas, you can take the chickpeas and open them up, and the liquid is called aquafaba, and it acts as an egg, a binder.
Okay.
And just pour a little bit of that in there, and you make it. It's okay.
Perfect. So we have some people on, so we're gonna get our conversation started. So I'm not sure. I know Shayla and I talked before, and just so D9 shout outs. We got 3 women of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And my brother is a man of Omega Psi Phi. So we got some D9 representation up in Peace. We have 2 HBCU grads and 2 PWI grads. So this is a very balanced conversation. I don't know. I know Shayla mentioned that she did watch Insecure. Alan, have you seen Insecure? Do you know what Insecure is?
No.
No.
Okay, so that's fine. So anyway, so there's Insecure is a show by Issa Rae. I just really kind of started watching it because of Alicia and my sister. But what was interesting was there was the recent topic, or the recent episode was about their friendship. There's kind of 4 main characters, but 2 of the main characters, Issa Rae and Molly, they claim to be best friends, right? And so they got into this huge fight where they said some really choice words, And there's been this conversation on social media about friendships and what friendships are, and whether or not there's a difference between friendships between women and friendships that men have with each other. And I wanted my husband to be a part of the conversation, but he had to go do something with our son. So I told Alicia, I said, well, I don't want it just to be the girls. Let me invite a brother on to have a conversation to kind of balance it out. And my brother's personality is strong enough to handle 3 very strong women. So I said, okay, well, bro, can you join? He was like, bet, not a problem. So he's on. But I wanted to have a conversation about friendship. And so for backdrop, Alan, Issa Rae, and you fill me in because you're more Issa D. So Issa Rae's character, Issa D, on the show, she had a best friend named Molly, right? And so her and Molly, since the beginning of the show, in my opinion, and Alicia is definitely more involved and engaged in the show than I am, but they've done this back and forth, real like digging type back and forth. Like the very first show, Issa gets on stage, and I'm not going to say the word on live, but she makes up this song called Broken, a part of a woman's anatomy, that was referencing a private conversation she and Molly had earlier. And my very first feeling when I saw that was like, oh, that's not cool. They're not really friends. Did I
thought it was funny.
You thought, see, and so Alicia thought it was funny. I didn't think that I don't do subtle digs, right? And so this is season 4 of the show.
Yes.
Season 4 of the show. And so you've kind of seen their relationship kind of progress. Issa is always struggling. She don't have no job. She had no place to live. She's always had a kind of a steady relationship, whereas Molly is a lawyer. She seems to have her stuff together. Her relationships with men are kind of fluid. She's had a relationship with a married man. So she's kind of all over the place relationships, whereas Issa's all over the place with her professional life, right? This season, Issa seems to be getting her stuff together. Molly seems to be getting her relationship stuff together. Issa does this really big event at a block party that she's been working the last season to do. It's really successful. She's super excited because keep in mind, she's always been a mess. She's always kind of been all over the place. Then the very end of the show, there's some back and forth, and then they get into this huge blow up where they say some personal things to each other in public that I think have been building since the very first episode. And so I was sharing with Alicia, I've never really thought that these 2 women were friends, right? Because, and I had one of my women friends group got together to talk about the last episode. And I seem to be the only one that really felt, that's not true as one other person, that they've never been friends. And so that sparked a conversation about whether or not how women view friendships is different than the way men view friendships, right? And so I'll go with you, Alan, first. When you think of the term friend, how do you define a friendship?
Well, I think for me, friendship is maybe slightly different. Have a different definition for it just because I'm an only boy. Okay. So for me, friendship, most of my friends I have longevity with.
Okay.
I have friends that I've been cool with for over 30 years, 20 years, over 20 years. Because I didn't have that brother, I didn't have that bond with other people, just in the house as far as male bonding growing up. I had my cousins and family, but there's a different type of friendship. Now, some of my friends I have had conflict with. We got it out the way. We dealt with it. We got it out the way, and it's water under the bridge. So with me, friendship can be fragile. Okay. Friendships are always fragile, just period.
What do you mean by that?
At the beginning of it, it's like any other relationship. At the beginning of a friendship, that's probably the most fragile time. Where you see a lot of people putting on masks of what they think that person wants to have as a friend or whatever. And then over time, that mask will come off. And that's usually where it sounds like, based off of what you said, it sounds like that's where that friendship is, where at the beginning they were putting a mask on as far as what they wanted their friendships to look like.
Mhm.
And then the mask started coming off and they just harbor things. I don't think men harbor things as much as females do. You ask me personally, I think females inside relationships, inside friendships, they will harbor things a lot more than males will. Males will get it out.
So Shayla, I'm gonna ask Shayla and Alicia, what is your definition of friendship? And then we'll get to whether or not you agree with what my brother just said. But what is your definition of friendship, Shayla?
3 words: loyalty, honesty, and authenticity. Like, if I can't be my true self around you, like the bad, the real bad, and the real good, then we can't be friends.
Okay. Lisa?
Like, and not saying all friends know like my deeper, most inner secrets.
Right.
But for the most part, if you poll my friends, they're gonna tell you I'm the same person in and out. You're gonna hear it consistently.
Okay. Lisa?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's that person that, or whoever, you can be completely yourself with, and they will stick with you through the worst of it, the worst things about you, is to accept you and love you for that. But also I think there's a huge compatibility piece, that, you know, you can accept somebody from afar for who they are, and you can still keep them over there, and like, that's just an acquaintance. I accept them, but I'm not necessarily need to be like, you don't need to be close like that all the time. But there are some people where it's just like, nah, we're compatible. Like, we think the same things are funny. We think we grew up similar. I think that piece is also important when you are thinking about your friendships. So I think a lot of friendships fall apart when you aren't able to match up on enough things.
So Alan, so I agree with both of Alicia. I'm agree with all 3 of you actually. But Alan, the question I have for you is, you've mentioned that some of your friendships, because I know your friends that you've had for 30 plus years. I've known them since when they were in kindergarten. So the question I have is, the ones that you have conflict with, was it the conflict that you had, obviously don't get into details about what the conflict was it personal in nature such that you could come back? So like, as an example, in this particular situation in the show, and I'm going to use you as an example, Molly comes up to Issa at the end of her huge, and these are all spoiler alerts, so if you haven't seen the show and you want to see the show, then it's ruined now. But at the end of this show, she comes up to, so background, Issa asked Molly she was trying to get this major artist to come perform at the block party, right? And so she knew that Molly's boyfriend had a connection with the artist that she wanted to get. So she reached out to Molly and she said, well, can your boyfriend reach out, blah, blah, blah. And Molly said, no, I don't want to involve him. And so what Issa did was, the guy that Issa was dating was roommates with Molly's boyfriend. So she mentioned it to the dude she was dating, who then mentioned it to Molly's boyfriend, and then the boyfriend went and did exactly what Molly didn't want him to do, and that's why she was pissed, right? So she comes up to Issa at the end of the event and has her finger in her face and says that you're an F up, you've always been an F up, and then it blows up, right? So my position was, I don't have friends like that. It's one thing to say that the action I did was messed up, but to attack me and say that you are such and such, like you're a liar or you're a cheater, or just attack my character, to me is I can't be friends with you anymore. And so the group,
I don't think you ever were friends.
Right, and that's my point.
A friend would never do that. Right. A friend will check you in a way that you can accept it when you're wrong, but that you want a friend to check you when you're wrong. So when you're wrong, a friend will do it in a way where it doesn't come off as so harsh. An enemy or an acquaintance, they don't care. So they're gonna check you however they feel.
So the personal check that is, you're this, you're that, you're whatever, in your mind means that they were never.
Yeah, because see, a friend to me, okay, if I'm a mess up in life, if I've messed up, been doing bad, all right, a friend at some point, before it gets to the point where it gets to where I am that, where like I am a failure or I am a mess up, a friend's gonna come to me before then and say, hey, what is it? We got to sit down and look at this and see why you're not being successful at these jobs. Why do
Okay.
you keep going from job to job? What is it? Is it the job that you're looking for? Is it the career path? Like, they're going to sit down and help you formulate a plan.
And so let me ask a question. Are men receptive to that type of conversation? Because I don't think women are receptive to those types of conversations.
I think it depends on the level of your friendship.
Okay.
I know some of your friends, your crew, if something was going on with you where you were going around and around in a circle, I know a few of them that would step in and say, yo, Mo, hey, let's talk. We need to talk.
Yeah.
And they're going to check you in a way where it's being received. I just don't think that a friend's going to do anything purposely to harm you. And they're not going to let you just sit out there in a raft and just drown. They're not going to do that. Not a good friend.
So Shayla, so you've watched the show, right, Shayla?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is your take on Molly and Issa's relationship? Do you feel that they're real? I mean, everybody's definition of friendship is different, because clearly when I was on the call with this group of women, my definition of friendship was very different than everybody else's definition of friendship in terms of what and that's not a judgment. It's just in terms of what I would be willing to accept and receive as what my friend would do, kind of know what in my space, my expectation of what a friend would do. Right. So based on your observation, Shayla, do you think Issa and Molly are friends?
No, they're not real friends. Like, they in person, like they're public friends.
Mm-hmm.
But once they out of public, it's a facade. I feel like Molly keeps Issa around her to make herself feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because she can look at her and see all of her failures and say, okay, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But then you got a whole failed relationship system going on. And then, Issa is fluid as well with her relationship. So that might be their compatibility, but they're not friends.
Listen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously throughout the seasons, I thought that they were friends who just didn't know how to communicate. But like this final blow up and the fact that they haven't been able to come to each other clean about what's been going on with them. And just seeing how Molly has been moving now that Issa has been more successful. Like, I agree. I think Molly just keeps her around just because she's comparing her life to Issa's, and she's seeing that, like, oh, well, I'm doing good because I see how messed up Issa is. And now I don't think it's a coincidence that now that Issa is doing good, Molly all of a sudden like has all these issues with her. And also for the success of this huge event to be kind of hinged on like Molly just reaching out to her boyfriend Andrew and saying like, hey, can you help her out? But she didn't want to do that because of these other underlying issues. And that this is like the key, like that has nothing, like what you got going on with Issa has nothing to do with like her success. If you really care about her and that was really your friend, then that shouldn't have been a problem. So no, I think that Molly's been fake. I'm not saying that Issa has been perfect either. And I also want to open up like because people were arguing that, well, Issa was wrong for going behind Molly's back after Molly asked her not to. So I definitely want to see what the opinions on that. But yeah, I don't think they're friends.
Yeah, Alan, I heard you shake your head when I told you kind of the scenario that led to the blow up. So yeah, I heard you shake your head like, nah.
Yeah, because you know me, I'm not. I really don't tolerate. Like I said, I got friendships for 30 years, so. That I don't need no new friends. That's serious. I got boys that have surpassed the friendship level, and we've entered into a brotherhood.
Right.
So I'm straight on find new friends. But the one thing I want to point out, and I think that may be missing in all this, is that when I think about television shows and entertainment, I think about how they who's watching, and I have young children, young ladies, and I'm cautious of what they get their eye on. And what I've noticed a lot of times when it comes to Black women on TV, when it comes to the showcase of their friendship, a lot of it is drama filled. From my perspective, the last decent showing of Black women in friendship was that girl with the girlfriends.
Girlfriends with Tracy Ellis Ross.
That was hella drama.
But that was right too, Alex.
Everything between Joan and Tony, they weren't even friends by the end of the show.
I'm thinking he was gonna say living single.
Yeah.
Maybe living single. I was trying to think back how far it was. I didn't really watch Girlfriends a lot. I just knew you had.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be drama, but they a lot of them. What I remember from Girlfriends is that a lot of the drama that they did show, they got it out the way. Yeah. Is there going to be drama in friendships? Yeah, there's going to be drama in friendships. But how do you deal with it? Do you confront it? Do you put it on display right there inside your own four walls where y'all can discuss it? Yeah, y'all may be mad at each other for a month or two, but y'all are coming back.
Right.
I just from what I've seen snippets, because I really don't watch a lot of TV, live TV, just because of all the drama where it displays Black women. I just feel that we're sending off a really, really bad message to these young black women, Black girls out here, because I'm in the school system and I see the effects of it at the schoolhouse. I see the effects of it, where these young ladies think they're friends and they go on this big display, this big drama, have all this drama going on. And I tell them, I say, y'all not really friends. Y'all not really friends. So let me ask this. So that's a bit good, because Shayla's in the school system too. Y'all actually same level. Okay. Both middle school. So you're middle school. All three of y'all. Look at y'all. All y'all in education. I am not. God bless. That's y'all ministry, not mine. So, so that's one of the reasons, Alan, that I don't watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. No shade, but that's one of the reasons why I don't watch those shows, because they fight and they're petty and they're messy and they gossip behind each other's back, but then they go on trips together, or they say that they're friends, or this is my. And so for me, I think not even young ladies. I think that because you have this Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Potomac. I've watched the Potomac one sometimes just because it's a little funny, because one of the young ladies is an HBCU grad. But I think aside from the young girls, like your oldest Nas age, and also I think filters into how our generation thinks about friendships, right? Because I have always, and I don't know who told me this, but I have always resigned to the fact that friendships are reason, season, lifetime, right? And it's harsh, but for my peace, I have to figure out what boat you are in, right? And I'm sure people probably do the same thing for me, which is fine. I'm a lot of personality, and everybody can't receive that all the time, which is cool. But I say reason, season, lifetime, not to be dismissive of the friendship, but recognizing that some people come into your life and are friends or whatever for a reason, right? You're friends for a particular, whatever it is that you're going through. Some people are friends in a season, right? And maybe I'm using the word friends. Maybe I'm trying to, friends and acquaintances is not the same. People in your life are there for a season. And then you have folks that are lifetime friends. And those, to Shayla's point, are the folks that you can be your authentic self around with no judgment. Those are the folks that you can share your intimate feelings and beliefs with without knowing that you're going to hear about what you told somebody through somebody else, right? And so I think the reality TV show mindset and that genre, the spirit, since we talked about spiritual health earlier today, the spirits that's in those shows filter into real life. And I think not only impacts, younger women, or younger people just in general, but older women as well, because I think you see a lot, my observation, you see a lot more of that. You have a lot more of, because for me, if you're doing something wrong, I should be able to say in love, I think that's real messed up, right? And you not take offense to it. What I see more often is
there are spaces or there are people or folks that are in my life that I may not necessarily say things to because I don't know how you receive it. And I don't want you to take offense to it because I love you, but you're not going to receive it in love. I don't necessarily see men going through, and my husband has said that we don't, Keith has said that he don't think that women like each other for real. And he said it to Shayla and I earlier, and we're like, well, that's not true. We like each other. He was like, no, I don't like each other.
Well, women are in more competition.
You think so?
Y'all in constant competition with each other. Whether it be hair, clothes, style, y'all are in a lot more competition.
Y'all are in competition with each other?
Not the same way. Not in the same way. Not in the same fashion as think about it. Your husband could not like you in makeup, and he could like your natural hair. He could not like you in makeup. He could care less what you have on when y'all go out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason that you put on the makeup and you get dolled up and you put on the nice clothes is because of that woman who's going to be dressed up who walks by. You're looking, you want her to look at you and say, man, she got it going on. I like her hair. I like her.
I gotta be for somebody else.
Your sister has tuned in and she's on this chat room and she said false narrative, Alan. She said wrong.
Well, I'm known for that, but I'm just telling you what the perception is.
I think some women do that. Not all women do that. You have some who they dealing with internal issues. So yes, they compete with every woman who walk by.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
But then there's some men like that too. So it's not just
right.
Especially
that's new age men.
Well, no. I don't know about that, but I live in DC.
Those metros.
I was just having a conversation with a friend about like dating in DC. And we were saying like there's no shortage of successful black men in DC. The problem is they think they ish don't stink. Like they walk around and it's like everywhere they go, they gotta be the best dressed. They gotta let everybody know how much money they make. They gotta know everybody in their status. So I didn't really experience that growing up in North Carolina and living here in Florida. But when I get to DC, you definitely see it. So it also could be a regional thing too, just how people grew up and like what their influences were.
I think that's a
generational thing, maybe.
I think it may be generational.
Older men in
no, wait. I know. Next generation ready to jump on us when we tell them that their generation got some issues. But our generation got issues too. But I think that is a lot more generational than and generational. Okay, maybe it's a mindset. Let's not say generational. Maybe it's mindset because you got people who are 50 years old that still have a 20-year-old mindset.
Yeah, people like Erica just mentioned, people comparing Jordan. So you gonna have the baddest, you had the baddest Jordans, you make sure you get the new Jordans so another dude will look at the Jordans. I've said that men y'all only bathe, brush your teeth, comb your hair, put on cologne or fresh clothes to go out to attract a woman or whoever it is that you attracted to attract whomever. That's why y'all do it. I'm perfectly comfortable going out to the grocery store or to hang with my girlfriends without a whole donned up makeup, eyelashes, all of that. So I think because see, but you got to understand too, Monica, we had a different example. Is you driving while you finna be on this? Are you driving? What are you doing? Well, I have to. My wife just called. See, this is what husband has to do. I'm in the middle of a meeting, but because I am a dedicated D1 husband, shout out to all my D1 husbands out there. I'll have to go and pick up my wife and my little ones because her car broke down at Chick-fil-A. So I'm on here. I'm dedicated to this conversation, but I want to make sure I have a house to move into to come back to. So you're fine. I was like, why is he doing all this? I may be pig-headed, but I'm not stupid. Yeah, I was sitting down enjoying the conversation, and then my oldest came and told me, "Dad, you got to go pick up mommy." So that's fine. So wait, she said, Val said, this is what happens when you don't tell your wife you're in a meeting. So Val, in defense of my brother, I called him at the last minute and he agreed to join us because my husband was not able to join us. So that's completely, he's doing his sister a one-up, so I appreciate that. So Shayla, do you have, one of the things that we mentioned, I don't know if we mentioned it before our first show, about how gossipy, our feeling from women is that men are real gossipy.
Way more than we are.
Way more than we are.
Right.
Way more. Alan?
Hold on.
And y'all gossip within y'all friendships.
Men are more gossipy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we don't gossip. I think when you're in high school and maybe college, I think you, because I think it's not gossiping for us.
Right. Yeah.
It's not gossiping. Men are competitive.
He don't want to say it. He don't want to confirm.
No. Men are competitive, so men will compete on who ties their shoes fastest. You got to remember, little kids in elementary school, at least when I was coming up, little boys would compete to see who could pee the furthest. You stand back from the urinal and see who can make it to the urinal. So we're going to compete.
What does that have to do with gossiping? Gossiping is the topic.
No. So listen, that's what I'm saying. It's not gossiping. We're sharing experiences.
That's a play on words.
Right, thank you, Shayla.
No. We're sharing experiences to get a leg up on the other guy.
So you're telling your business.
No. It's not telling business.
Listen, Shayla, my brother is not going to break man code. He's not going to admit that Keith, you heard Keith won't even, well, no, Keith did admit, Keith admitted.
Yeah, he did.
Keith admitted that y'all were more gossipy. So your brother-in-law has admitted that y'all gossip more than we do.
I haven't heard that on live television, so I can't confirm nor deny that he admitted that. That's coming from you. That's coming
Shayla was there. Shayla
from
was
you and his daughter.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's okay.
That's coming from y'all three, but I'm not going to confirm nor deny. I didn't hear it personally. I didn't hear him say men gossip more than women. I didn't hear him say that.
Okay.
So no, I can't agree with that. I know my brother-in-law. He, first rule of Man Club is never talk about Man Club. Second rule of Man Club is don't ever talk about Man Club. That's just how that goes.
Well, do you have something?
Yeah, so I think one thing, not related to gossip,
Alan, mommy's, Erica said mommy's going to get Val, so turn back around.
Oh, too late. I'm already in the car.
Oh,
dedicated. D1, one shot, honestly, shout out to the D1 husbands out there, man. I want to, this is our first time on air, and I just want to shout out to those guys. They do a fabulous job. If you don't know what a D1 husband is or D1 dad is, you need to look it up, research it a little bit.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you have a lot more out there.
Y'all are phenomenal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So go ahead, Alicia.
So one thing that I think I reflected on these, especially this past couple years in regards to my friendships that I don't think we talk about enough, is that I personally think, and I would love to get everyone's opinion on, it's okay to have certain friends for certain things, and not feel feel guilty about it. So I have friends that I will travel with, that when I have an idea that I want to, let's go so-and-so, particularly my best friend Quaisha, she's down for, I call her, let's go to Vegas tomorrow. She'd be like, all right, babe, she'll pack her clothes and go. But I also have friends where I wouldn't necessarily go through those links to try to do, just because they drag their feet, they don't have the funds, whatever. And it's not just that, maybe there's certain things I would tell about what's going on with me, that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell this person, but not necessarily this person until maybe a couple months down the line or a month down the line. And at first I remember feeling kind of like guilty, like, oh, does that mean they're not a real friend? But I think it's important to realize like what certain friends can do for you and what you can do for them. And I don't think that's something that is talked about enough or that is explored enough. Like, you don't have to have, like, every single one of your friends that have to do everything for you, you have to be able to tell everything to you. Like, they're still a good friend, and they serve that purpose in your life, but it, that just doesn't necessarily mean they have to have access to all things in your life. So, what do y'all think about that?
Right.
I completely agree.
Well,
I think because we don't talk about it enough, we try to, especially I see more women do this because I don't talk to guys a lot about their friendships. We try to make everyone be everything for us, and then you get disappointed.
Yeah.
And then once that disappointment sets in, oh, you're not a real friend.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm the friend who you can come to, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I might not be the friend who can listen all the time when you're wrong, but let me direct you to the friend who can do that.
Right.
And I think it's good to also bring all your friends together, because then your friends can see, oh, that's her friend who's for this, that's her friend who's for that, and they recognize their roles in your life.
So I'm on.
I have about 4 or 5 different friend circles.
Yes.
You do?
I got about 4 or 5 different friend
Okay.
circles.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
And with inside those friend circles, I have friends that are closer, but I have about 4 or 5 different friend circles, and I think it's healthy. So, like you said, like Alicia, like everybody is saying, you can't tell everybody everything. I always tell people, if you want to know about me, you're gonna have to ask about 10 different people, and you still won't get the whole story because you have so many different friend circles. So like you said, sometimes you do things with certain friends, sometimes you do things with other friends, and they don't mix. And that way you can be, but the one like I think Shayla said earlier, the one thing that you can ask any of my friend circles, the one thing they will say is Alan's gonna be who he is, day in, day out, unapologetically.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I think I have 2 main friend circles, and then I have extensions of those friend circles. Because for me, the definition of friends is a real. I equate friendship and sistership, which maybe I shouldn't do, but I do, right? So those people who are so I have my college crew who I've been friends with for 30 years. And it's men and women. So that's my core group. That's my diva, that's my crew, those are my folks. We don't see each other often, but we're trying to do better about that. But when we get back together, it's like nothing has changed, right? And so then I have my crew here, and we've kind of spread apart geographically, and life changes, so we don't see as much of each other as we should, and we want to, but other than that, then I have like outward people who I wouldn't consider them, we are cool. I don't know if I consider them friends. Does that make sense? So like if they call me, my personality is if you call me, I'm there, right? I have different, so it's a social circle. So I have friends and I have social circles, right? So AKA is a social circle for me. I have friends within that social circle, but AKA is a social circle for me. Links is a social circle for me. The bar is a social circle for me. And within those individual circles, I have folks that I hang out with who are my crew, who I'm down with, but I don't know if they're necessarily in the same pocket as the 2 friends pockets I talked about. Because my first friend group from college, they knew me when I was 18 years old, and I'll be 45 this year. So there's a wealth of experiences. We're tested. We've had those lemon squeeze. I'm gonna ask that question in a moment. We've had those lemon squeeze moments where we've got together. We said, we're coming to this space. We're going to be honest and have a fruitful conversation. And then when we leave this space, being honest about how we feel about each other and this relationship, when we leave, we're either going to be cool or we're not, right? I don't know if I've had that same lemon squeeze space with my other circle of friends, right?
I think the main thing you said was you find out who your friends are, your true friends,
Say that again.
when you're on hard times. When you're on hard times or when you're in difficult times, that's when you find out who your real friends are inside of each individual circle.
Right.
So with your AKA group, with your links group, you may not have hit a stumbling block yet to see if they will follow through on that obligations and those tenets of those organizations and the cardinal principles of those organizations. So you don't know until you've hit that fork in the road with your girlfriend.
Don't get me wrong, we are friendly, and I have love. Right. I love my sorors. I love my link sisters, right? Because we're founded on principles of friendship and sisterhood.
But you just don't know if they will actually live up to it until you hit a fork in the road, or what level they will live up to it. You already know with your college crew and the 6-footer crew, you know how far they will go in support of you, because they've shown it.
Yeah.
Time and time again that if you're down, and you all have shown it for one another, when one of you are down, that the rest of you galvanize together to pick that person up.
Shayla, do you have those pockets, those friendship pockets, or is it just one small nucleus group of people? You don't have to answer, because you could step on people's toes. So you don't.
No, it's fine. I mean, my friends, they know who I am, and if you don't, then I guess you ain't a friend. I have circles, right? I have friends who I've met with in AKA, and I know like that's my dog. Yeah. I have friends from elementary school that I'm still cool with, like literally from 2nd grade. My friend, she named her son after my last name. Her son is Kason. Like that's my dog. And then I have, my college friends as well. So yeah, I have those friends, but I can bring all of them together because they all somewhat have some commonality, and I know they'll all mesh.
Okay. Now, I don't know if we've done it, but I sense, and there could not be a tension, I sense that there's a tension when I bring my 2 groups of friends together. So I may bring 1 or 2 together at a time, but both groups together.
Well, I don't know what, since you say that, I don't know if I ever brought everybody together. It might have been 2, 3, 4.
Right. Because the groups individually are heavy groups, right? So, because time tested, whatever, merging the 2, like all as a collective.
There's a lot of personalities in there.
There's a lot of personalities, right? And I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm forced to take the side. I just am not going to be in that space, because I value both sets of friends. I can't. I heard you said no.
No, I couldn't do that. All my friends my friend circles are just completely different. Like I have, I won't go into details, but I think that what's difficult about it though is like if I'm like the centerpiece that's bringing this group of friends together and this group of friends together, they're expecting to kind of be like that mask off, like Alan was talking about earlier, like be able to kind of be themselves. You can't really do that with these people, this group over here, because you don't know them like that. You have it, it's not a time-tested friendship. And so you kind of have to be on your toes the whole time. But if I'm bringing them together, say for like a graduation or a birthday, where that's the time where you want to let loose and you want to be like, you want to have mask off because you're with your girl who just turned whatever and you want to celebrate. But then you can't really do that because they have this group of friends right here that's like, oh, and I can't really, like, I can't bring up, I don't even know if they know about that time, like freshman year.
I might not be a good friend because, I might not be a good friend because I definitely did exactly what you just said. We took a trip to Canada, and it was groups of friends who didn't know each other collectively, but it's like, hey, you want to come to Canada? But we had a great time. It was like, look, you better get this alcohol and just go ahead and be free. We'll, talk however you want. But it worked.
Yeah. So Katrina is on here, and Katrina says she's a community friendship person as well. And she says she likes for everyone she considers a friend to be friends. So I guess the question is, what do you do in the event that even if that's your goal, how do you navigate if all the friends aren't going to be friends? Because some people just may not mesh with each other.
I think it depends on how strong because Monica, you know about my crew.
Yeah.
The high school crew. And I think it depends on how strong your friendship is inside that crew. Because we've always said inside of our crew, and we have our name, our crew's name is GDP. Shout out to the fellas. We've always said that if you bring somebody in, they got to be ready. Period. Man or woman, like even our wives, we let each other know, like, man, if you got your wife around, she got to be ready, because we're not going to sugarcoat ourselves or downplay our friendship because this person's around.
Right.
So if we got an embarrassing story to say about you, it's gonna be said, and we're gonna laugh. So don't get in your feelings, because that's what. But we've been doing that for 30 years. We've been at it for 30 years. So when we've gone on bachelor trips, or we've gone on just crew trips, and other guys outside of the crew have been there, they have one or two choices. They either jump on board with what was going on, or they sit on the sideline.
Yeah, I think that's fair for some friend groups, but I just know, like, I have friends that are like super like reclusive, and so they might come to a function just to support, but then they'll sit in a corner and just kind of be chilling, and that's just their personality. Like, they just chill in a corner. But then I have other friends that'll be like, why is so and so in the corner? Like, they don't like us, they don't want to socialize, blah blah blah. And so I think, to answer your question, like, how do you navigate that? Sometimes you just gotta let everybody know, like, hey, not on sneaky stuff or anything, but just like say, hey, so and so about to come over. They're just gonna sit in the corner and they're gonna chill, and they just gonna have their drink, and you just gotta leave them alone.
So like Katrina just made a good point. So Katrina and I were best friends in high school, and we were like frick frack high school, and then going into fam, and then just life we just kind of went not that we were never still friends, kind of went our separate spaces, right? And so now she has a best friend, Lex, and me and Lex are cool. We're cool. I don't know if we're necessarily under my definition of friends, but we're super cool because I love her dearly, and whatever she needs, I support her. But that's a good example in terms of just being community. So it's never really awkward I don't think the three of us have ever hung out together. But if the three of us hung out together, Katrina and I were best friends when we were kids, right? And then in college. So we're growing and maturing. Her and Lex are friends as grown people, as adults. And I think sometimes, and y'all get your take on that, I will say, and I'm sometimes envious of my sister and my brother, because growing up, I moved around a lot. And so my brother, I don't have friends. I couldn't tell you who was in my kindergarten class, right? So I couldn't tell you who was in my first grade class, second grade. I don't remember anybody that was in any of my classes until fourth grade. And I don't talk to those people anymore. So I'm always envious of my brother and my sister, because they still have friends and friendships with people that they were friends with elementary school. My friendships, I had friends. Katrina was it was me, Katrina, Joy, Joby. We hung together tight in high school. And me and Katrina remained best friends when we went to college. And then we were different majors. Katrina's a year younger than me, so different majors. She was education, I was SBI. And just by the virtue of that, we developed our own social circle and developed friendships there. Most of the crux of my long-term friendships and that 30-year crew is all college. So I don't really have those close, with the exception of probably Katrina. Me and Tiana are super cool, with the exception of probably 2 or 3 people. When I go home to West Palm, I'm not really hanging with anybody. I'm hanging with my family, because I don't have that core group of folks that I can just go kick it with and hang, because most of my friendships, in terms of that tight-knit group of people that I've, sustained with was college. So I think all the rest of y'all have friends from elementary, whatever.
Mine's completely different from yours, Monica. Like, for me, my tight group is from Tampa. When I think about fam, now granted, fam was some of the best times of my life. Like, if I could go back to anywhere in my life, it would be college. But I have like the tight knit is probably 5, not even 5, maybe 3 from college who those are my dogs. And I know at the end of the day, I can talk to you through thick and thin, and they have met my friends here. So it's kind of opposite.
Yeah, same. I only have like 4 friends from college that are in my tight knit group. The rest are people that I met after college or high school / middle school.
Yeah, I mean, so I know Eric, my sister and my brother have the same experience, and I maybe my experience is different, and I don't know if it's just virtue of the fact that we moved around a lot before we got settled in West Palm, but I can count on one hand, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I can count on one hand when I go home the folks that I will hang with, and it's Katrina, Tiana, Leontine. That's it. Not that I don't have other people that I would love to hang out with, but in terms of folks who are just, I would consider friends, that's it from growing up, which is kind of sad, but that's my reality. Cause
it's not. I think it's just a difference of how you, I think like you said, you traveled more. So you got to think about those students nowadays who are going from one school to another school, elementary, as far as elementary is concerned. They may not, and nowadays may be a little different because of social media and the access. We didn't have social media then. So when you left a friend in elementary school, you may not be a friend no way.
You breaking up because you in the sun. What'd you say?
I apologize. I told y'all.
That's not why.
The sun is interrupting
the sun is interrupting your Wi-Fi connection. Hey, Boo Bear. Go ahead.
So if you have a person who's going from one elementary school to another elementary school, they're not able to hold on to those friendships to the point where you can start getting each other's numbers. So if you're in kindergarten, first grade, yeah, you have friends. I have friends from where my first elementary school. I remember those guys.
Yeah.
But I wasn't asking for their number. I wasn't calling them. It was the parents who were keeping us connected.
Right.
So once I left that school and went to another school in third grade, that's where I started building those real friendships because I stayed there and I got to the point where I started mature and be able to, make friends myself. Kindergarten through second, third grade, those aren't your friends. Most of them are not your friends unless your parents kept y'all together.
Well, I would like, and I know my mom's probably going to be, she's going to reject this, but I would like to blame my parents for me not having friendships from elementary school going forward, because they took me out of the public school and put me into a private school, 7th and 8th grade. So any friendships I had developed by 6th grade were completely ruined because I went to school with no Black people. So at any rate, that's what I mean. Okay,
I will defend you, Mrs. Williams, because my best friend in the whole wide world, LaQuasia Good, we were friends 7th and 8th grade, and then my mother similarly moved me across town and made me go to the white school, and she begged and begged her dad to bring her across town so that she could visit me, and her dad is probably still mad at her to this day. And my other friends, we rekindled our friendship, so maybe it's just y'all weren't real friends because we maintained our friendship even though we weren't going to the same school.
That's possible.
To this day.
So,
shout out to
but anyway,
my friends.
So we have 2 minutes left in this lovely conversation. I sincerely appreciate you all taking the time to join us. Right, Katrina, my mama gonna get me, but I
defended you, Ms. Williams.
That's my statement, and I'm sticking to it. Eric, but the proof is in the pudding, because my sister and my brother still have friendships from when they were little, and it's because elementary school they were together, middle school they were together, high school they went together. I was friends in elementary school. They snatched me out, dropped me in a Catholic school, and then took me back and dropped me back into a public school. I don't have no friends except for high school. So the friendships at home that I developed were in high school. I'm kind of joking, but kind of not, because that's,
it's real.
I mean, it's legitimate.
It's hard when you're not in each other's face all the
But
time.
I will say, Shayla, what you said, my sister made a comment that while she maintains her friendship from high school and elementary school, she doesn't have that core group of people from her college years. So she has friends from law school, and she has friends from elementary, middle, and high school. But that college time, you know, just kind of life, and they grow apart, which is why I went back to the reason, season, lifetime, right? So some friendships are just seasonal friendships, and I think you kind of have to acknowledge that that's just when a season is run, it's a season is run, and kind of move on. But I go back to my original premise, which is Molly and Issa is not friends.
Yeah, I agree.
They was never friends.
Nah.
They friends.
It was never.
They were never.
If your friend do that to you in public,
right, this right here.
That's
it.
So Alan, she did this in the episode. She was like, Molly was like this on Issa.
Listen, I love my boys to death, but, and I'll do about anything for them. But if they ever try to do that,
right.
they know my temperament. My temperament is not set up to handle that and just walk away.
So I have one question before we end. If, let's say, you got into that space where you're angry, right, and you're doing the back and forth like Issa and them did, can you salve and salvage that friendship, or is the friendship forever broken, or is it just different?
I think it will be. I think it depends on if you have a group, because we've had it. You called it a lemon squeeze. We don't. I've never called it that. When we've had an issue inside of a crew, we just sit down and we say, "Hey, you got a problem with him? Deal with that." You know. But I think it can. I think the relationship will forever be changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you can still have a level of friendship, because there's different levels of friendship. I think you can still have a level of friendship, but I think it depends on how strong that crew, that unit inside that crew is. If that unit is really strong, then you can still remain. But if it's not, then no.
Okay.
No, I think that falls, 9 times out of 10 it falls apart. 9 times out of 10.
I think the blow up itself you can recover from, but you have to work on what led up to the blow up, and like whether or not, like, you really have to have a heart to heart on like whether or not you are deciding you want to be friends. I've had a blow up like that once with my best friend. And we were like screaming at each other it was our freshman year, but it was a result of us from an issue that started from the beginning of freshman year. This has been going on with Issa and Molly has been going on for years.
Yeah.
But the blow up we had was something that was we were freshmen in college. There was a lot of transition, and we had stresses from all these different things. And we were roommates our freshman year too. So it actually came from us not being able to separate being friends and being roommates. And so it was like a temporary, and I think the big blow up was probably like in November. So it was like a couple months after school started. But it was a very like, I don't know if she put her finger in my mouth. I don't think either of us put our finger in my face. That's like, but it was fine. But she was like, but it was like like, shut the F up, like, I'll beat your ass, like that kind of thing. But we also both like had fought before. So it was more, but once we like reconciled, it was like, okay, this is, we're still friends. This is what I think it made our friendship stronger, because we realized that when we go through big transitions in life, which we've gone through several big transitions since then, we now know how to deal with that. Yeah. We now know how to communicate, and we know what buttons to press and what not to press. So I think you can recover from a blow up like that if you resolve the things that have been going on. But yeah, Issa and Molly, it sounds like that it's in their nature. I don't know, but like I said, Molly, or someone said like Molly is unhappy with her life, and so she resolved things that she's unhappy with. Like Sissy, well, she was going to therapy. I don't, Dr. Whoever need to come back to her. But until she resolves some of those things that are making her unhappy, she's not going to be a good friend to anybody.
Shayla?
I think if it's a public blow up like that, as friends, I think that we friends anymore after that. We may be associates, we may speak, but when somebody show you who they are, believe them the first time. Okay. Now, if it's a blow up behind closed doors and it's me and you and we having a heart to heart, then yeah, we can resolve that. But if you do this and it's a whole audience, you're not my friend. I need to recognize that, because friends correct you when nobody else is watching.
Correct. And so that's kind of where I am, Shay. I mean, I've had a blow up with one of my really close friends, and almost fight. She hates to talk about it, so I won't mention her name. But It was an almost fight situation. There were no fingers and hands, but I said I will whoop, you know, because when I get there, I don't have any control over what comes out. And we were on non-speaking terms for a very, very long time, because I said some things, she said some things, but it was never personal. So what I said wasn't a personal thing, and this was right after my dad died. So it was a lot of other things that I was kind of dealing with from an emotional level, but it was behind closed doors, and the only other people that were around was our core group of friends. So we're closer than ever, and super, super tight, and she's my sister. But yeah, I'm with you, Shayla. If you do that in public, coupled with this right here alone, regardless of who you are, is going to end up with some hands being laid on one way or the other. But the fact that you did it in public means that we're not friends. We've never been friends, because from a friendship perspective, it should have never gotten that far. So, well, I want to thank you all. It's a little over our time, 1:36. I appreciate you all indulging us on this, Shayla from 11 to 1:36, indulging us in this space and time. I sincerely appreciate y'all. Alan, thanks for jumping in the clutch. Love you and appreciate you. To everybody else, have a phenomenal Saturday and rest of your weekend. Watch the HBCU graduation celebration today on Facebook. We will post the information on our Soul Purpose Show page. God bless, and good night. Yes, sir.
Big Al's barbecue sauce.
Oh yeah, sorry. So both of those, both Alan and Shayla, both are small business owners. It's Small Business Owner Saturday. Shayla, go ahead and shout out your business, and then Alan, you shout out yours.
Mine is Mirror Image Yoga. It's a mobile yoga service. If you are on Instagram, it's Mirror Image Yoga _Tampa. We bring the yoga experience to you.
Alan?
Amen. Big Al's barbecue sauce. The sauce is so good, you don't even need meat. Get your bottle. Hey, I know that you're right. Right.
Show your logo, Alan.
Big Al's barbecue sauce. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. To order a bottle, you can fill out the order form at www.bigalsbbqsauce.wordpress.com.
Shayla, get it. Put it on all your vegetables, Shayla. It's real good.
Put it on anything. Put it on anything.
All right. God bless. Thank y'all so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.